Non, forcément déçu, non, parce que j'ai trop d'expérience pour être déçu par un résultat où nous doublons notre nombre de députés. Vous savez, moi j'étais député il y a 2 ans et 1 semaine et nous étions 7. Par conséquent, je note cette progression face à tous, face à une coalition totale de l'ensemble des mouvements allant de LR jusqu'à LFI, accompagné, il faut bien dire, par la presse qui a tout de même pris parti clairement pendant cette campagne. Et donc, je vois que ce soir, le Rassemblement national est le parti politique qui est le premier de France. Il est aussi le premier parti en termes de nombre de députés. Et je vois surtout l'ensemble des ferments qui sont ceux de la victoire de demain. Je vois que nous sommes dans des dizaines et des dizaines de circonscriptions, entre 47, 48, 49%, et que ces circonscriptions-là, je le sais, seront des circonscriptions gagnantes lors des futures élections législatives. Donc la marée monte, elle n'est pas montée assez haut cette fois-ci, mais elle continue à monter. Et par conséquent, notre victoire, en réalité, n'est que différée.
As you saw from the intro, that was the French political party, the far right. I don't understand these news outlets, right? Something's not far right just because it's right of you, right? You don't get to. This is the problem with the mainstream media. You don't get to orient your politics as the center and anything that's right of it as far right. Because at the end of the day, this party, based on what I saw from people who are sharing on X, they had the most votes as an individual party. Now, the reason why the National Party in France seemed to have lost is because apparently there was some political maneuvering going on in the behind the scenes. Macron made an alliance with a leftist political group, and this is one of the reasons why I like our election system. People may not like the two party system, but it's a lot simpler and it's less complicated for gerrymandering to go along and happen about. So anyone who wants a parliamentary system, you can keep that, fam. I don't want that. Because it seems like even if the people say yes, we gave the most votes. The National Rally Party in France won the most votes, but they still don't have enough seats to actually make change in the government because they have a hung government now. French vote gives leftists more seats over far right in pivotal election, but leaves hung parliaments and deadlock, which is good. I mean, hey, it's not going to solve all the problems, but hey, a coalition of the French left won the most seats in a high stake elective election. I mean, first round, you lost an election. You got to call a do over. Hey, I need clarification, French people. Round two, the National Rally Party end up winning. Then you have another election. Is this democracy? Nah, I'm good, bro. Hey, it, I digress because this is a signal for us here in the States is that we shouldn't be complacent. Yes, Biden is fumbling, mumbling, and bumbling. Yes, the Democrats are in turmoil, look like collapse. But this is not an excuse to take our foot off the glass because this just serves as a lesson that the fight is never over. You never underestimate your opponent, even when they're down and out. The political left in France was cornered, so cornered that Macron aligned himself with a far left socialist communist party, allowing this is the political calculus of Macron. Macron is so scared of the far right in France that they don't like they want French citizens to be first priority. They don't like illegal immigration, right? He's so threatened by that he rather let socialists and communists gain more power in government than the far right. Imagine that. Just sit there, let that seminate in your mind for a bit. Socialist, socialist, people who believe that they should run your lives, that they should have absolute power. They get to dictate what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do using government force behind them. Force you to do things based on their purview, regardless if they're wrong. And when they do get it wrong, God forbid, they'll never reflect. They never hold themselves accountable. They put those kind of people, they rather those kind of people have more power than a far right government. Imagine that. Sunday, according to a near final result, beating back a far right surge, which is them centering their politics as the center, right? It's like me as a conservative saying far left, centering everything based on my politic, but I digress. But failing to win a majority, the outcome left France facing the stunning prospect of a hung parliament and threatened political paralysis in a pillar of the European Union and the Olympic host country. In calling the election on June 9th, after the far right surge in, after the nationalists surged in French voting for the European Parliament, Macron said sending voters back to the ballot box would provide clarification. On almost every level, that gamble appeared to have backfired. Results so far show France plunged into a political fog with the three main blocs: a leftist coalition, the nationalist rally, and Macron's centrist, so-called centrist, all falling short of the 289 seats needed to control the 577-seat National Assembly. Our country is facing an unprecedented political situation because you never listen to your people. Your people are being sexually assaulted on the streets of France. I have family in Paris. I will not go to Paris, France. Not with my kids, not with my wife. I don't feel safe going in there. France is evolving into a third world country. And you're surprised of an like, imagine the goal. Imagine how out of touch you have to be not to understand why people will vote for a nationalist party. Preparing to welcome the world in a few weeks, said Prime Minister Gabriel Attal, who planned to offer his resignation on Monday. With the Olympics looming, he said he was ready to stay at his post as long as duty demands. Macron has 3 years remaining on his presidential term. Now, I did a little snippet. This is how the left-wing media reacted. A now somber nationalist still claim historical gains because at the end of the day, all you did was delay the nationalist party's momentum. They, like you saw from the intro, she went from 7 to 47. Now I believe they gained 136 seats. Progress. Look at how many votes they got by themselves and their allies, 9 million votes. And look at the party that's supposed to have more seats than them. The same thing happened in the United Kingdom as well, if I remember correctly. The past week has made much more thankful for our electoral system. It has flaws and needs reforms, but it's 100 times better than this ish. Yes, I don't like the parliamentary system. And apparently there was still riots, even though the far left won the election in France. Like, make that make sense, guys. All right? Everyone's saying France is a conquered country. There's more Palestine flags than actual French flags. And the same thing, the same dynamic. And I don't know, this is why I don't like globalism. How is it that a flag for another country is more predominant in the streets than the national flag of the home country where the elections were held at? People are voting based on the interest of other countries at the expense of their own country, of their own lives. Make that make sense. Far left socialists just won in France and England. This is your reminder not to get complacent about Trump versus Biden. Register, vote, donate, call, get active. Nothing is over until it's over. A lion always attacks with his full force. And yes, it may be a somber beginning, but look at the positives. Hey, look, okay. Y'all want to see if it really gets bad? Let them have it. Let them eat cake. Because essentially, this was the 2020 election for America. They voted in Biden. Biden was supposed to be a return to normal. And then what we got? Record inflation. Highest inflation in 40 years. That's what the American people decided to vote on because they let the mainstream media convince them that Biden was the better choice than Trump. And then they got it. They ate cake. And now they're like, oh, no, we want Trump back. We want Trump back. Right? In a panic. And this is the point that I want to reference in America. I think America doesn't have this much of a problem, but we should not trust the mainstream media. I already told you, mainstream media is a captured institution. Overwhelmingly liberal.
You don't think you're far right?
The equivalent of what we are in the United States is between the center-right and the center-left with regards to ideas. So I think this...
You're kidding me, right?
Yes. Yes, I'm telling you very honestly. I think this use of the term far-right carries a stigma and is very pejorative. It does not correspond to what we are, and not at all to what the far right is in the United States. That's the first thing to say. Secondly, we can't put everyone in the same boat. For example, in Europe, we distanced ourselves from the AfD party because we're in total disagreement with a number of their statements. So together with Mrs. Maloney, and with our differences too, are what we call patriots. In other words, we defend the existence and the power of nations within the European Union because nations are the expression of the French people.
So when they say far right, it's based on a liberal perspective. Everything right of liberal is far right in America and around the globe. In a panic over the rise of the far right, the idiot French just elected the communist. Hey, let them eat cake. It's a hung government right now, right? Some people are not, not much is going to get done at least, but it's only been deferred. It's only been deferred, but this is serve as a lesson that I think what they say, with a unvigilant people, your government will become like wolves. Look at the political maneuvering that the globalist left has to do just to stop the will of the people. This is why populism is rising across the world. You may delay it, you may stop us, but do not get discouraged. I think we should not get discouraged. This is encouraging. Okay, setback, a minor setback for a major comeback. That's the mentality we should all be taking. Because look at how much effort they have to do just to stop this momentum. Hey, I like Francis' chances. Hey, man, let the people have it. Let the people understand what you was trying to save them from. Because imagine voting. Like, I'm not too familiar with French politics, but I do know that the immigration problem is the same immigration problem we have here in the States, but they got it a lot worse. Because they're importing more people in their country than I think we are even. I imagine with Biden, but yeah. We getting sexual assault. Our daughters here in the United States are getting sexually assaulted by these illegal immigrants. French got it way worse on the sexual assault front. And they're surprised why so many people are out here vigorously voting for this party. Because the globalists, this is why I say you don't trust globalists. Because they don't have any incentive to listen to you. They're worrying about all the world problems. They're worried about managing the world, all of us in homogeny, going in one direction. No. Human beings, we have different cultures, different beliefs, different angles on how we pursue this thing we call life. And I can't think of anything more dehumanizing than living under some global agenda where we all think the same, act the same, see the things the same way, do the same things, and then we all fall for the same ish. In COVID, we had red states, blue states. Everyone tried different things. They all angled the COVID problem differently, and they all got different results. And based on all this data that we had, all these experiments that we were doing at a national level in the United States, we found out whose approach was better and whose approach was worse. But now, imagine if globalists get their way and we get a one world government where they get to dictate what every country do, how every country should be. That's no way to live. And I think this is one of the reasons why populism is rising, because people are like, yo, I'm French. I don't want to live like the Americans. We got a distinct culture here. We got a distinct values here. I'm from Denmark. We got statistically low crime rates because of the fact that 90% of Denmark is people of one race, one language, one culture. We all share. We share a language, we share a culture, we share a common lineage. 90% of a country. And people want to look at, look how safe Denmark is. Denmark's not diverse. Look how safe Finland is. Finland's not diverse. But look at it. Social democracy works in Denmark. Yeah, they all share a common lineage. They all share a common foundation. Socialism can't work with a multiracial country. It can't. That's the funny part. You separate people based on their ethnicity, based on their gender, based on their sexual orientation, and then you expect socialism to work in the country. You're fooling yourself. But you get called far right because you believe that the priorities of your people should come before outsiders, before immigrants. Immigrants should take a lesser priority compared to the citizens, the safety of your citizens, the safety of your people. Imagine if I take in consideration other people's wants and needs over the priorities and needs of my own family. You'll call me a bad father. You'll call me a bad husband. But we let our political leaders do this every single day. This is what a globalist represents in politics. And as a nation, you cannot allow this. You can't continue rewarding globalists for their behavior, because at the end of the day, if you are catering to everyone, you're accountable to no one. I'm gonna repeat that again, because if I'm accountable to my wife, there's certain expectations that I'm supposed to fulfill to know that I'm taking my family into consideration. But when I'm here and say, no, I care about everybody. Everyone deserves equal access to wealth. And I'm here giving money to other people's families, helping them take care of their families. My wife was like, what about me? Well, I can't only think about you, honey. I have to think about the community. I have to think what's best for everyone. You're gonna be like, no, you're my husband. You're their father. You're the head of the household. You're supposed to be taking care of our priorities first. And this is what we're letting politicians get away with. This is why globalism is crap. They pretend they care about everyone because that way they can that way they can be accountable to nobody. When French people try to hold them accountable, oh look, we got to take care of these people. They're desperate. They're poor. They're seeking asylum. They're seeking a better life. How? But at our expense? No, you got to change your way of life to accommodate them. We all got to live here. And now they're getting pushback and they don't want to hear it. And then they want to do all these gerrymandering. Instead of being reflective and saying, why are the people voting for these people? Instead of offering a better alternative and addressing the problems that the French people are actually articulating and standing behind the National Rally Party, no. Let's coalition with this far left group that have no chance of getting power, but if we help them out, they can, just to prevent these people from getting into power. Elitist bullcrap. But hey, shout out to France. I hope you guys I hope the movement keeps going. I hope you guys don't get disheartened from this setback. Like she said in the beginning of the intro, it's only been deferred. It ain't stopping. It went from 7 to 136 seats. That's progress. Like I said, change comes slowly. I know we're impatient. I know we want things to happen right now. People can't wait for November. But change happens slowly. And you have to be patient. You have to persevere over setbacks, adversities, because things don't happen in a straight line. That's common throughout human history. Nothing ever happens in a straight line. I think that's just my little motivation for my fellow people in France. You know, my family in France. I hope they're safe. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What you guys thinking? How do you think this plays in parallels to what we should expect in November of 2024? What are your thoughts about it in our own political system? I would like to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.